This is Brad Shive with the EHC 2.5 lab. You'll notice I'm logging in as the HR user. As we log in here, I want you to pay attention to the left-hand side of the screen, and you'll see services that are available to users in HR. That will be the HR service catalog. It's loading right now. We'll switch to catalog. And what I want you to pay specific attention to is the number of service catalog items. In total, it looks like there's 6. We'll check out each service catalog menu. That's VDI sessions. And those provisioning 3-tier apps and single VMs. Overall, again, there's a total of 6 potential service catalog items available to the HR teams. Again, these are role-based, and it's based on HR user. We will log out, and then we will log back in. This time we're going to log in as the demo admin. Again, pay notice to the left-hand side of the screen. There'll be a number of offerings in this one. The services have been expanded greatly. You can see they number so many that the left-hand pane of the screen needs a scroll bar. There we have consumer services, VDI primarily, corporate applications, Avamar data protection, desktop type services, developer type services, Hadoop, provisioning machines, and ViPR services. All available to the IT admins or the demo admin. We'll scroll through it. If you click all services, we can scroll down through this entire list, and you can see just how extensive it is. Everything from LAMP stacks to VDI sessions to single VM creations to Active Directory controllers to be created. It's an extensive list of service catalog items. Now I'd like to demonstrate to you something we get lots of questions about, which is how do we decommission VMs? How do we contain the VM sprawl that's occurring? Number one, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select more than just what I own, but what the demo lab user can see. And he can see the following 3 machines. We'll select one of these machines. We're going to go to view details so we can see what the machine's properties already are. On the left hand side of that screen, you can see that the owner is EMC demo account. The cost, the lease term, the lease cost, the expiration, and the cost to date. Now we'll scroll back over and we're going to change the lease. We'll shorten this puppy right up, and we'll change this lease. This is what happens when you've been a bad developer. We'll shorten that lease up to just a week. We'll submit it. We'll say OK. On the back end, what it's going to do is notify not only the developer, but also the admin of the action that was taken. Let's go back to the details, and as you can see, we've altered the dates of the lease, and I want you to also notice that it destroys the VM at some point. We don't have to take a separate action, saving people time and money for all those audit and destroy procedures that often actually never get done. Now we'll go out to the email client, and we'll show you that it's kicked off a couple of emails. The first one says the change lease has been submitted. The second will notify the user that the lease is near expiration. The third will tell the admin that it's near expiration. And the fourth will say that the action was finished and completed successfully. Now that you've seen that we can control and perform configuration and change management with this tool, we're going to take you to something near and dear to every executive's heart. We'll go to the Business Management tab. We'll click on it. And this dashboard appears showing the overall total costs, operational analytics, and demand analytics in a single pane of glass. Let's go to the operational analytics. And first I want you to note that since I've been using this lab recently, there's an uptick, and you can see that in the spark line. There's an uptick in the usage. At the same time, we could go over to these and check out each one. It will highlight the different bars. Now let's go check out costs. This is near and dear to every C-level's heart. Let's cruise down and check out storage costs. Now let's edit and modify this. This is one of the most common questions that we get from our executives is, can we edit these prices? And we'll go down and we can edit operating system licenses. We can change those pricing models with each new agreement or an ELA. Now we'll go check storage. And in here we can audit these as well. It should be noted that out of box we're using industry standard numbers. So you'll want to adjust these. Please notice that storage is at $53 at this point. Let's change that cost. We'll go down and save it. And now you'll notice that that number changes. Went down to $43. So it's real time. We can adjust those as we need to. Here's the ta-da moment for most of our executives, and this is something they've always needed and wanted. First, we'll delete one of the models that we were using before. Now I'm going to go and create a model. And interestingly enough, I'm going to create a model with a server that we don't necessarily have in our farm, just so I can show you what happens when we do that. So we'll increase the cores, and we're going to increase the gigahertz. What do you think would happen if we increased the gigahertz to an amount that we don't have, of resources that we don't have in our cluster, or a type of resource we don't have in our cluster when we try to do the financial modeling? What will happen is it knows this, and it says, we don't have that available. You can't do that here. That makes the decision for us pretty easy. We either have to procure more internal services or buy new boxes, or we have to go out to the cloud. But with one minor adjustment, I don't really need 3 gigahertz. Maybe I'll take two 2 gigahertz machines instead. We'll leave the memory the same. We'll save that. And if we do that, you'll notice that the model supports that. So this financial modeling is aware of the existing infrastructure in your environment. So you can literally run true tests using this model. Fantastic stuff. Another way to do some of that modeling is to select an environment that you already have. So if you had a grouping of, let's say, Oracle servers, you could very easily just select that grouping and then model it that way. Finally, I'm going to give you guys a pro tip for the SEs that are watching this. What I like to do in all of the labs, especially labs with as many components as this, is play around and log into every single component and touch and play with every component that exists in there. Better me to break their lab than my own lab, right? So I'll go and log into ViPR and play there. I'll look at VCO, and maybe I'll look at the workflows that exist in VCO for ViPR. Then I'll also look over at something cool like App Director for VMware. These are great places for us to play and expand our knowledge without the risk of ruining our own lab. right? We can just recreate these. Anyhow, thank you for your time.